So far, it's been a really good first day. All the players showed up on time. They were excited. Everybody passed their physicals today, so it's just the four guys that were on PUP the other day. Those are the only guys that didn't pass. And so it's fun to see the guys, just the excitement that they've had. You can feel a good energy about them. You can feel it with the coaches. We had the conditioning test, and the guys were out there having fun. It's just a really good feeling and good environment to be in right now. So basically, from a GM standpoint, it's a great first day for us. It's a good win. So any questions?
Dante Jackson, is he cleared to go?
Fully
Right.
cleared.
Okay.
Yeah, fully cleared. A guy like Dante, just coming off the Achilles, you may manage how you bring him along. Start right at the beginning just to make sure he's in shape, but he's full go.
Brian Burns showed up today.
Mhm.
Obviously, everybody's looking at the pass rusher market. How has that kind of played into your summer plans, and what has the conversation been with him and his folks?
Yeah, those will be ongoing conversations. There's no timeline to it. They've been, good conversations. He's represented by a great agent. And, it's not like we have to say, hey, listen, it has to be done by this time or that time. We'll just keep talking. And when the time's right and, that we make a deal where it's right for him and right for us, that'd be great. He's a big part of the organization. We'd be excited to have him. We love having Brian around. He's really grown as a leader, not just as a player, but as a leader. He's matured, and he's one of those guys that you just love being around.
Is it fair to say that he's a better fit for a 3-4 scheme than a 4-3?
I mean, I guess you can argue it either way, but this scheme isn't just like a true 3-4. This is like, your outside pass rusher getting off the ball, and that's what he does well.
Darren reported earlier that there's been at least one offer made. Where are those negotiations now? Do you think it'll be done before the end of camp?
Again, just no time frame. Out of respect for the whole process and the agent and our team, I'm not going to go into details, but there are conversations ongoing.
The depth at edge rusher has been talked about a lot. How do you guys view that group right now, months removed from the draft?
We like it, but we always need to add more. You can never have enough pass rush. So if there's a pass rusher out there that upgrades our roster, we're going to pursue that. And, that's just our style. We're aggressive, and we're always looking to add.
Scott, what similarities have you noticed in your role in team development from year 3 in Seattle to now year 3 in Carolina?
Yeah, it's been very similar. Just how you go about it. Build it with defense, build with the offensive line, drop the quarterback in. How you surround them with good, talented players around them to support a young quarterback. I think back then it was Marshawn that came in, and we bring in Miles Sanders. And Miles is a guy that, he can run the ball and he can catch the ball. It's a good safety net. That's why he's a guy that we earmarked during free agency and went out and got.
What do you, the running back market's just been under a lot of focus lately.
Sure.
Why do you think that is? Have you guys as GMs talked about what you guys can do to help that situation? Or?
No, we really haven't. But I've seen it and I've read about it. All I can really say is like the way we look at it, and obviously we still value the running back. Frank's offense, it's running back's a very important position. Not only just a guy that can run the ball, that can catch the ball, and you couple that with a rookie quarterback, you really need a good running back. So we think we have 3 that can really support our quarterback, and so that's why we still value the running back position.
Why were you willing to really give Miles the only contract that a running back got this season?
Because of that, because we needed someone that's well-rounded, someone that can catch the ball at the backfield. We knew we were going to go in and get a rookie quarterback. We liked the backs we had. Obviously, Blackshear's good at running the ball, catching the ball. Chuba's a good runner. He's coming along in the passing game. He's really developed in that area. And we just thought Miles and Deuce Staley's, basically history with him. Frank's offense, the way they would use him. He's a guy that had 50 yards or 50 receptions as a rookie. He's had like 124 for his career, so that's really important to us.
Scott, what jumped out at you about Bryce in OTA's minicamp? Anything in particular that you've been kind of impressed about?
Yeah, just everybody talks about the intelligence and the processing. It's reaffirming because we saw that in an NFL offense. We saw him in a huddle, going up to the line of scrimmaging, managing line calls, and then not only just managing the line calls, but post snap, being able to process and go through it while you're dropping back. It's not just out of the gun like you are in college, grabbing it and throwing it. he's going through progressions of an NFL offense, and that was really encouraging.
Is there a certain poise about him? Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't really seem to get rattled by much. He just
No, he doesn't. No,
taking everything in stride.
he's unflappable. We saw that at the dinner. We talked about that before. He's a grown man. He looks young in the face. He looks really young, but he's a grown man.
The trend in recent years seems to be getting away from playing starters much at all in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
Have you talked with Frank about the plan with Bryce, and would you expect him not to get many actual preseason games?
I think he needs reps. I don't know about we're not going to put him out there before he's ready. So I'll let Frank decide that with Josh and Thomas Brown. When's the right time? If it's the Jets game, it'll be that game. If it's week 2, that's when he'll get those reps. He needs those reps. Just like Matt Corral's going to need those reps. Andy Dalton's probably the one guy that doesn't need the reps as much. But I would expect the 2 young guys to get a lot of reps this preseason.
With that said, how important are those Jets joint practices? Essentially?
Huge. Yeah, huge. Just because the Jets have such a good defense, and they're aggressive, and they give you a lot of different looks, that'll be great. That's one reason why Frank said, hey, listen, I know Saleh, and I have a history with Saleh as well. We think the Jets would be a great test for us to get us ready for the season. And so that's one of the reasons why we did that.
Are you satisfied with the state of your cornerback situation?
Like I said, just like pass rusher, we're always looking to add. Whether it's a veteran or a young guy at the 53 cut or a cap casualty, we're always looking to upgrade, and we're never satisfied with the roster. We like the guys we have, but we're gonna look to upgrade.
Would you say the secondary is probably the most stable part of the defense at this point?
Well, it's hard to say that because you have Derek Brown up front, you have Brian Burns, you have some of these other guys, you have Shaq and Frankie Louvu at linebacker. I like where we're at. I really like our safety depth. When you have Xavier back there and Von Bell and the other guys. I mean, you talk about the intelligence and the communication on the back end. It's not just the physical play. It's the ability to direct traffic on the back end, communicate with JC and Dante and CJ. I like where we're at, but we can get better.
Scott, what have you seen from Jonathan Mingus?
A lot. Yeah, he's been awesome. You saw really good hands. You saw a lot of power. You do see the speed. He's not an instant twitch guy, but he's a long speed guy. I think he's going to play a pretty good role for us this year.
Right away?
Potentially. He's got to keep developing. It's on him, but he's pushing.
Scott, with I know that there's a new coaching staff in place, but you've got some late round, mid round draft picks from over the years that are getting the opportunity to step up maybe in bigger roles. Is there a guy maybe from the previous draft classes, a guy or two that has kind of stood out to you under this new staff?
Yeah, obviously Chuba would be one. Some offensive linemen. Cade Mays is going to play a role this year while Corbett's on his way back. That'll be good to see. Just trying to go through it in my head who those guys are. But every time there's a new coaching staff, there's great opportunity for those guys to take the next step.
So Cade Mays is going to be the right guard?
No, I don't know that. It's a wide open competition. The good thing is we have numbers in there. We have versatility in there. Brady's back. He's fully healthy. Austin, he's pushing to get back. He's ahead of schedule. We'll see what that means. We won't know until cut day, where he's at. But those young guys really need to push. And Zavala coming in. Unfortunately, he tweaked his hamstring, last week, so he's gonna be a couple weeks. But he'll be in that mix. So it's gonna be Zavala, Cade Mays, Justin McCray, all those guys pushing, and we like that group inside.
Scott, what about Frankie Louvu that made him such a good fit for the other previous staff? Makes him a good fit with this staff.
He's got traits that transfer over. He might be playing a different position, but his instincts, his just reckless style, his pursuit to the ball, that follows everywhere on defense. And we'll still use him outside. He's not just going to be solely inside linebacker. There'll be some rush situations where we put him outside and we blitz him and do different things with him.
Scott, talking about those outside linebackers, how close is DJ Johnson to Marquise in terms of trying to figure out what a depth chart looks like?
Yeah, I think the one thing with defensive players, especially as you get closer to the ball, it's really hard to tell until you put pads on. You saw some athletic traits out of him, but we really need to see it on the field. We need to see that production on the field. And, Marquise has done it for a couple of years, so you hate to, push DJ up. He's got to earn it, and he is. He'll earn it, but we'd have to see it first.
What is Panasini's status and injury?
Yeah, so he's got a calf injury that he tweaked, back in the spring. It's kind of lingered on him. I think when you're that size and your muscles are that big, it's tough. But we'll just have to see how he progresses. But he's done it a couple times so far, so it's a little bit of a concern.
We'd heard through the off-season deploying LaVisca in different ways, using his versatility. What exactly are y'all looking for in training camp to see from him?
Yeah, and I don't know what Frank shared, so I don't want to share too much just because, you want to surprise people. But his skill set is more than what we've seen out of him in the past. He can run routes. He's just not like a swing screen guy, where you take it and run with it. You want to get him on slants. You can get him over on deep overs. You can get the ball quick and let him run over guys. And you might be able to do some other things with him that I think Frank's looking into.
Scott, what's your favorite part about training camp when the guys are off?
Yeah, like in the team meeting today, they're just administrative meeting, just seeing all the guys. It's like the first day of school, but there's, it's funny. There's such an energy. Like I was saying, that's the first time I saw all of them in the same room. I've seen them in the hallway while they're doing the physicals, but it was loud. It was loud, and the guys were interacting. It's a really cool vibe that we have going right now.
What will Frank's camp set up and schedule? How will that differ maybe than what we saw with Matt?
Well, I think the mornings will be the same. We're going to have the early morning walkthrough, 10 o'clock practice, get out of this heat and get them off their feet and learning. I don't know how much different it's going to be, from a structured schedule standpoint. But Frank has been around, knows how to take care of these guys, and that's what he's going to do.
It looked like there, maybe I didn't look at it closely enough, but there were a couple extra days, off days baked into the schedule.
Well, I know like next week or later this week, he's got a double walkthrough. So instead of having him practice like once in the morning and then having the walkthrough prior to that, he'll do a walkthrough, break, meet, walkthrough again. So it's just little things like that, taking care of your body in this heat down here.
What have you seen of Bryce kind of behind the scenes where we don't get to see that's helped him earn the respect of his teammates?
How humble he is, and just how genuinely nice he is. To see how he treats everybody. To see, like I saw him this morning, he was running an errand, like he felt like a rookie because he's like, hey, where do I go? Like kind of just like you expect so much out of him, but you realize he's a rookie. And he's trying to figure out how to do like little things around the dorms and where to go, and so it's kind of cool to see that. But he's just such a humble guy.
Going back to what you were saying earlier about certain positions, and you're looking to potentially upgrade certain positions.
Sure.
How quick into the practice process are you looking at? You guys can see that after one practice, two practice, or are you going to try to give some guys maybe a week or so?
Yeah, you want to be fair to the players that are here that went through OTAs with you. We had a workout today. A lot of that's we have plans for those guys. Injuries happen in camp, and you want to have physicals done and grab a guy, do a quick physical, and put them on the field. We want to know who they are. So we worked out 10 players this morning. Probably have another one in a couple days. The important thing is let's see what we have here for a couple days with these guys. Are they in shape? Do they know what they're doing? If they haven't done their homework, then maybe we'll move on at that point. But you want to be fair to the player. You want to be fair to the agent. You want to be fair to, but you got to be fair to the other players on our team as well. Get guys in there that can perform.
You talked about Brian Burns earlier in terms of his contract, but just generally speaking, why is he so important to the team going into his fifth year?
Everybody knows about the physical, traits that he has and who he is as a player. Just the person too, like his leadership, his influence in the locker room, his energy that he brings. Those are all really important things for him.
The joy that he brings is also something that's palpable.
Yeah, the guy loves football, and you can't have enough of those guys.
How has Jeremy Chin done in this new role?
You know what? That was a good question going into it. Like, what's the role? What's the fit? And talking to the staff early on, they're like, okay, we'll try him here. And then Ejiro really said, oh my goodness, you realize what kind of athlete he is and how you can play him. I think there's a lot of excitement how our defensive staff's going to use him.
Where did Bryce have to run the errand? Was it for like a teammate? I mean,
No, it wasn't like a teammate thing. He was just running a personal errand. Yeah. And like an everyday thing that a college kid might struggle to do. He's on his own. What's that?
He didn't run errands for you then.
No, not for me. No.
For the new guys that you brought in, the free agents, what was the feedback you heard from them? Why they wanted to be part of the Carolina Panthers?
I think people see what's being built here. They see a commitment from ownership, and then you put together a coaching staff like Frank and his staff that he's put together. I think people want to be a part of something. They want to be a part of building something. Some guys want to jump on and ride, hey, this team's ready to go to a Super Bowl right now. It's easy. Let's go get a ring. And some people want to be a part of a build, and there's a real joy to that. And I think, that's one feedback I got from several guys.
How do the expectations compare for you this year compared to your first year as GM here?
Totally different. I mean, it's every year's a new year. Every team is different. So I can't say, of course I was excited for my first year. I was excited for the second year. I had a lot of hope in last year. I think this year, having been through a team like this, kind of going back to Seattle, you kind of feel it coming. You kind of see it coming. I think there's a lot of good pieces in place. There might be some teams might have 6 or 7 superstars. I think we have a really solid core. We do have some superstars on this team. I think the more people see us on TV, the more we win, the more those names will get built up. But I think we're at the beginning of something special here.
Scott, what did you learn about Thomas Brown during the collaborative process throughout the offseason, and what have you learned about him kind of on the practice field since?
Yeah, Thomas has a lot of good ideas. Frank knows what his offense is, but I think Thomas came in and, I don't want to say challenged Frank, but helped add to the playbook and brought different ideas. And I think Josh, having a lot of different experiences in different teams, brought in different ideas. Parks Frazier's done that. I think and Jim Caldwell. I mean, we can't forget about Jim and all his experience. Frank hasn't said, "Hey, this is my playbook. This is the way I'm going to run it." He's been open to it all. And if there's something that's good, if they can fit and there's a nice flow to it, they're open to it. They're going to try it. And if it doesn't work, they'll throw it out. But at least they've tried it.
Is there a Rams element to it with Thomas's?
There's a little bit.
handprints?
There's a little bit, yeah. Yeah, it's just not Frank. Thomas definitely has his fingerprints in this.
Does that leadership style from Frank, is that encouraging? Is that something that you expected when he came?
It came through in the interview. You can see what he was a grown man in the room. And he's very calm. He's very well thought out. He listens. He's a great listener. And then he recaps. Once you're done with the conversation, he says, "Hey, to recap, okay, this is what I'm hearing," and he makes sure we're all on the same page. And so it's a really cool process. And he's not afraid to say, "Hey, listen, I disagree with this," but he's very open to suggestions.
Everybody good? All right.
Good.
Thank you, Scott.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, guys.
Bring your boat.
No, but it was nice. It was fun for a couple of days.